Now the On Your Side forecast with Chief Meteorologist Scott Dorval.
The cold weather continues. I said we'd hit 19 for the high temperature today. My 3-degree guarantee. We came in at 21. This is officially at the airport in Boise. A little colder to the west. We had a good deal of sunshine in the Treasure Valley. While in the Magic Valley today, at low cloud cover hanging in, just making it feel even colder outside during the afternoon. But the cloud cover this morning that we had in many locations during the morning anyway, kept those low temperatures up. And so we may continue to see that in some places tomorrow morning as some low clouds and fog form, but many places will be clear overnight, and that will make it even colder in some of those locations, even in the Treasure Valley. All right, here is the snowpack now, and something new with the snowpack this year. The Weather Service is now using the 30-year average they're using has shifted 10 years now, so many of the wet years of the 70s are not figured into the average, and the dry years that we had during the 2000s, there were several of them are averaged in, and so in essence, we have an 84% snowpack in Boise, 84% of average. This would only be in the 70s, maybe 71% last year of what the average was last year. In other words, we shifted it. We're not getting as much snow. We haven't gotten it over the last 30 years, and so this is average for this past 30 years. So these numbers, while they're looking good, are not as good as they had been in years prior. I hope that makes sense to you. The bottom line is we just haven't seen as much snow over the past 30 years when you average it all out. But we're going to go with this average, and so the average in the Wood River Valley is 23% above where it should be, while we're a little lean in the Uwaihe Basin, the Willow Basin as well. The eastern portions of the state, not bad in the Snake River, but down at the Bear River Basin at 82% of average. But we talked about an inversion, so what exactly is that inversion? I want to show you something that we use. This is the Boise profile. I mentioned last night on Fox 9 News at 9, talked about the weather balloon that we send up every day in 100 locations around the United States. One is at the airport in Boise, a weather balloon measuring weather. And this is the report that comes back from the weather balloon. It's a complicated graph that I look at each day. And this represents elevation right here. As you can see here, the layers, that the numbers get further and further apart because the atmosphere is squishing, and so the air is heavier down near the surface. This solid white line is a graph of temperature. This is an average temperature. As to say, this would be 32 degrees right here. It goes on an angle, and so we're graphing the temperature. I'll put it all together here to show you what this showed this morning when the balloon went up just before 6 o'clock this morning. The temperature at the ground was 14 degrees. Up at 4,200 feet, it was 20 degrees. So we've inverted the temperature profile while the air is rising. This is where the pollution now gets trapped in here in the morning. In the afternoon, our temperature got to 21, and so the inversion, this low-level inversion here, tends to weaken a little bit, and the pollution disperses a little bit. But then the inversion comes back in the evening. You go up to 11,000 feet. It was 28 degrees. As the warm air comes in from the coast, this number is going to rise and it's going to lower as this warm air thickens. And so what will happen is we'll get into the mid-30s in many of these locations in the ski areas as it starts to warm. So that's the inversion we're talking about. Not real strong now, but it will strengthen as we go through the week. In the teens right now in the Treasure Valley, and there's a little bit of a breeze out there. So Mountain Home, it feels like 3 degrees. Twin Falls feels like 13 degrees. And that cold core of air is still sitting right here in the Intermountain West, while the coastline, San Diego at 54 is going to get above 70 degrees this week. So some nice weather in San Diego. Just some high clouds moving on through. As you look at the high pressure ridge here, it's a big one, solid one, blocking all storms. It will nudge in our direction, and that will warm the ski areas. And so that's where we'll see some of the warmer temperatures coming in. Through Sunday, though, no precipitation, and beyond Sunday as well, I think that's the case. Lows in the single digits and teens tomorrow. Highs in the 20s, about 21 Meridian, 18 in Weiser tomorrow. Patchy fog around the Treasure Valley. In Long Valley, we could see patchy fog as well. Temperatures getting into the 20s. By the way, Banner Summit, Highway 21, because of avalanche danger with the warming temperatures, will close at noon tomorrow, and then they'll reevaluate later on. 5 to 15 below wind chill factor in the east central mountains, while in the Magic Valley tomorrow, it will be cold, probably low clouds and fog hanging around. Temperatures single digits in the morning to 20s in the afternoon. My on your side extended forecast really does not change much. There'll be times of clouds and fog. There'll be hazy sunshine developing at times. We'll be trending more towards sunshine as we go towards the latter part of the week, but low-level fog. If you start to melt any of the snow, it causes fog to form at night because you're adding moisture into the air. So there's no a lot to talk about, but no storms. We really could use those.
Melting would be good at this point.
We'll wait till next week, I guess.
Coming up.